literally, these are the only products that we're going to be using today. I want to put on makeup, but I don't want to put on too much. And I've been trying to master my true no makeup, and I think I've gotten there. So we're going to walk through it. This might be the shortest tutorial I've ever done, but it's really, really quick. Literally about 5 complexion products, anywhere between 8 to 10 steps. And I'm going to share that with you. I did kind of include it in the last vlog. If you've seen that, then you kind of know where I'm going with this. But if you did not, here's your opportunity. I'm going to break down all the products that I'm using. I am using one thing that is slightly different than I used in the vlog, but that's okay. The overall concept of it all is still the same, if that makes sense. So of course, just like any other day, I am going to start with my brows, still using the Kosas Nano Brow Pencil, and I am going to apply some brow gel because it helps keep my brow hairs up the way that I like it. I'm not going to apply too much and overdo it, but just enough just to, get those brows in place. And as always, I always struggle with which one has product, which one doesn't, but I like to use both. The one with product I use just to apply the product first to the brow, and then I'll go in with the empty product because the spoolie is just a little different on these. It's a little better for the brows. It just combs them nicely, which is why I still keep the empty bottle in case you were curious. I'm not going to conceal the brows because, again, I want it to look as no makeup as possible. And once you start concealing and doing all that crazy stuff with your brows, then they tend to not look so natural. So if your brows aren't hard-headed like mine, then I would probably opt out of using any type of brow gel. Just go in with your pencil. But mines are a little stubborn and I like them to look a little full, so that's why I'm using that. And then I'll just go in with my pencil and just lightly fill in the sparse areas. This one needs a little more help than this one. Again, my brows aren't twins, they're sisters. So good thing they get along though, but they are definitely not twins. I'm not even going to line the brow underneath just because, again, I want it to look as realistic as possible in terms of it just being like a natural brow. One thing I admire about my little sister is that her brows look so good. Everybody swears up and down she puts product on them, but I promise you, she does not. She does not. I wish that were the case for me, but unfortunately, a little pencil is just gonna have to do today. Now the tail of the brow on this side is where it gets a little tricky for me because it is very, very sparse over there. So I'm definitely gonna need some pencil action going on over here on this side of the brow. But again, sisters, not twins, okay? As far as complexion goes, I'm gonna start with a skin tint. Now this one is a little bit more hydrating than your typical skin tint, or I guess there's options, but this one's definitely a hydrating skin tint. You can use any of your choice, but I find that something more hydrating just makes the skin look a little more natural. And it's not necessarily cold outside, but it is warming up, and we do like a nice glowy finish to our skin. So I'm gonna use a little of this. I'm not gonna put this on the entire face as if I would normally do on a daily. If I were, just going in and doing my makeup as usual, I'm just applying a small amount to the back of my hand, and I'm literally just gonna apply this in the areas that I feel like I need it, which is gonna be right here on my chin area, and I do have another kind of like dark spot over here on this side, but it's just literally where you feel like you need it. And that is it. That is all. And this is gonna help too, just make everything look a little bit more natural. Of course, you want to make sure you're using something that like blends in with your skin. Of course, that is always key. And this is not like super pigmented, so my skin is gonna also seep through with this, and it's lightweight on top of that, so it's way better than using a foundation. Now I'm gonna take my cream bronzer. The one I'm using this time is the Makeup by Mario bronzer stick. I used the Patrick Tall the last time, which was very like natural. It was beautiful. I loved the outcome of it, but I wanted to test something else out with this whole routine, and so I decided to just gravitate towards this. And I'm just going to apply this where I would typically contour on the cheekbones and forehead area. I'm also going to take this on the nose, just because I do enjoy a nice contoured nose a little, and just kind of drag it up here where the brow, and that's it. I'm actually not mad at the fact that it's not covering up that blemish I have there, because it just makes it look all the more natural in my opinion, instead of just like trying to wipe away every single imperfection on my face. So that doesn't bother me. But if it bothers you, then you might want to just go in with something a little thicker. Maybe the Nars Soft Matte Concealer in the pot that I love to use. That's really good at like concealing dark spots and dark circles and things of that nature. But for me personally, it does not bother me. This is not necessary, but what I am going to do is take this, what I would typically use for concealer, but because it's so small, I'm going to take it to blend out the contour on the nose, just so I can kind of brush that up into like this eye socket brow area for a little color up there as well, and just blend this out. Now that we're done with the bronzer, we're going to move into concealer. Again, another Makeup by Mario product. This was not intentional, but this concealer is one of my favorites, and I feel like it matches my skin so well that I'm literally going to use this, and I am legit only doing 3 dots, lines, whatever you want to call these, but that is all the concealer that I'm going to do. Now, if you wanted to, at this step, you wanted to conceal like this, or you know, the blemish over here, you can definitely do that with this concealer as well. But again, I'm not pressed to do that, and I'm going to use the other side of the brush, which is the smaller one. If this is the F4 brush, I'm going to use the smaller side, because if you do too much concealer, then it's going to look too much like makeup. But literally all I really want to do is just cover these dark circles. This particular concealer as well is also good because it's self-setting. So it kind of sets itself. You don't necessarily need any powder or anything like that to set down the concealer. Although I am going to apply some, just know that technically you don't got to. So that also kind of eliminates a step if you wanted to eliminate the powder step. I'm going to set, you know, my T-zone essentially. And I'm going to do my chin, and I'm even going to take a little of the powder and go right underneath that bronzer. Now, because we did use the skin tint, I did feel it was important to just like set all of these areas, because you want to make sure that you're setting your creams. So instead of using one loose powder to set underneath the eyes and then maybe like a face powder for the face, I just used the loose powder basically everywhere else. Now to set the bronzer down, I'm going to actually use the Sephora Micro Smooth powder, because this is a little pigmented as well. So everything that I'm using does give a little pigment, which is great. And I'm going to use this to not only set because it has pigment, but also because it is a wonderful powder. It looks really nice on top of bronzer, and it does make the skin look nice and smooth. So you want that Instagram filter look to your face, this is the powder to use. I absolutely love this. As I said before, or maybe I didn't say, but because we used a hydrating tinted moisturizer, it is going to get a little dewier throughout the day. So I am going to take that extra step and actually set my face with some of the L'Oreal Infallible 3-Second Setting Mist. This isn't anything that's going to make my face super matte. It's not going to make it super glowy. It just literally sets your makeup down, and it actually makes it wearable for a really good amount of time actually. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now the only other thing that is left to do is put on a gloss or a chapstick or whatever it is that is your preference. I'm going to go with chapstick today just because I don't feel like a glossy lip, but you guys know I love a good lip gloss down, so it would either be the Summer Fridays, it would be the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. I love to wear that as a lip gloss, or the, what is the other one called? It is the lip pumping gloss that I use pretty frequently in my videos. Somewhere in here. This one from Lawless. So any of those would be my typical choice, but I am going to go with chapstick today. So that's what we're going to rock out with, and that literally completes everything. Literally only 5 Complexion products, and I don't even know how many steps that was, but it wasn't too many. And this is just like really quick to do. Literally takes 5 to 10 minutes. I don't even know how long this video is going to be. It's probably super short, but that goes to show you guys right there that this does not take any time at all. And this has been my truest no makeup look, and I'm very proud of it. So you guys can let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. Also let me know what you think. Let me know if you try out this technique or set of products. Again, it doesn't have to be the specific products that I used in terms of like brand, but just sticking to these 5 core complexion products is definitely the way to go, in my opinion, to have that no makeup look, because we all know that it's been a struggle for me to do no makeup. I feel like every time I do it, it looks less and less makeup-y, but still gives makeup. But this to me just gives natural skin, like I just woke up like this. Alright you guys, that's it for today's video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I hope to see each and every one of you, as always, right back here in the next one, whether that be a video or a vlog, whichever one comes first, girl.